Have you had extreme symptoms while on a GLP-1 medication, like intense pain or cramping in your stomach? Then this video is for you. Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantastical weight loss journey, and hopefully you'll come along for the ride. So today I'm going to be talking about people who post in the support groups and they're talking about horrible pain that they've never felt before, and they want to know if this is a normal side effect. So first things first, let's get the logistics out of the way. If you are having pain, you need to call your doctor. If you are having extreme or debilitating pain, you need to go to the ER. There are some situations with these medications that require medical intervention if there is a problem. So please, if you're having extreme pain, do not sit around thinking that it's nothing, it's not a big deal. Okay. Now, there are some instances where there is pain associated with gas or cramping that you may have unintentionally done to yourself. And let me explain. So, oftentimes, people on this medication will post and say, oh, I've got horrible gas, I've got these horrible cramps, it's really bad. What is going on? Will this get any better? And 9 times out of 10, they are on either the first or second month of taking a GLP-1 medication. And my first question to them is always, what was the last thing that you ate or the last thing that you consumed? And 9 times out of 10, it is a trigger food, it is alcohol, or it was some instance where they consumed too much food. So let's talk about those things. Let's go ahead and get the alcohol out of the way, because I know that people get bent out of shape about that one. There are some people who on a GLP-1 medication cannot consume any alcohol. They either have no desire to, or if they do, it makes them violently ill. I can't explain it. I don't understand it. It's just common. It happens. You're either somebody who does fine or somebody who gets sick, and you won't know until you test it for yourself. If you need more information on that, I made a whole video about it, so definitely go check that out. Secondly, they ate a trigger food. Again, I have a whole video where I list all of the trigger foods, but generally speaking, the most common are red meat, anything fried, anything high sugar or high fat. Those are the most common triggers. Now, there can be others. For some people, it's super fibrous veggies like broccoli or Brussels sprouts. For other people, it's legumes. For some people, it's dairy, right? So you're going to have to do some experimentation to see what works for you. But if you run across an issue, this is why it's so important for you to be tracking your food. Even if you're not tracking it for calorie purposes, you could still be tracking it simply so that if you do have symptoms, right, because of the delayed gastric emptying, your symptoms will also be delayed, so you need to be able to look back at what was that last thing that I had. Now, the person who posted in the support group that prompted me to make this video, when I asked them this question, come to find out they had had 2 things that they had not previously consumed, and they were brand new on their journey. What was it? Shots of straight up vodka, right? They were out with their friends, and seafood. And I would say, well, I'm going to venture to guess it's the alcohol, considering the symptoms that she described. But just in case, you might want to think that it could be the seafood. Not necessarily that it was bad or that there was something wrong with it, but that your body didn't digest it well. The other thing that I've noticed is that this tends to happen to people around dinner, and it also tends to happen to people who are eating out. Again, I'm not claiming that it's because of food poisoning or something like that. But I do think that there are a lot of things that people don't think about when it comes to eating out. Like, yes, the calories are posted on the menu, but there can be like a 40% discrepancy on that if they cook the items in oil, if they cooked them in butter, if they, added something in because they were short on another ingredient, right? Like, there are a lot of things that can change in a restaurant dish that you can't account for, especially if you're tracking calories, right? You just have to do the best that you can. It also means that if you go out to eat and then you get sick a few hours later with cramping or bloating or, right, then it's likely going to be because of that food. And you just have to take that into account when you're going out to eat. So the moral of the story is track everything that you're eating. Be careful when you go out to eat. Be strategic about what you're purchasing, right? So that you can minimize some of these symptoms like cramps, bloating, things of that nature, excess gas, sulfur burps, right? And make sure that if you do have symptoms, that you look back at the last thing that you ate, because that is likely going to be your culprit. Okay, if you found this video helpful, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you check out my other videos. Like I said, I go in depth in some of my other videos, so make sure you check those out. And as always, be kind, rewind.